Go ahead. I'm listening. Really am. No bullshit. That's not it, though. That's not it. No, it's not. Alexa, what is situational leadership? Welcome to Fordify, where we help you fortify your business. Each week, we pick a new episode randomly chosen by this button. So, let's take a look at what this week's episode is going to be on. Situational leadership. Oh no, another topic. Please. Okay, well, situational leadership it is. Now, why would that be a topic that I might want to save for a different episode? Probably because that's an area that I've had to work on and I'm continuing to work on at my company here at Prime Concepts. Now, before we get too deep into today's topic, let me share a quick little story with you. I was at a mastermind a few years ago, and it's a situation where you go around the room and each person shares one of their biggest challenges, and then the group works together to help answer it. And it gets around to me, so I shared with my mastermind partners, I said, look, the biggest problem I have is my people, motivating them, training them, onboarding them, getting them to do what I want them to do, getting them to get shit done, right? And this one gentleman said something and says, hey, I've got your answer. He said, first of all, have you ever taught a child how to ride a bike? I said, sure, my son Logan, I taught him how to ride a bike. He said, what did you do? I said, well, I gave him a helmet, a bicycle, and held the back of his bike, and if he fell over, I picked him up and coached him and guided him. And he said, yeah, that's how you teach somebody how to do something, right? You prepare them, you guide them, and you coach them. He said, but Ford, you know what you do? You find the biggest, steepest hill you can find. You put your employees on a bike with no brakes, and then for good measure, you kick the back of the seat and you push them down the hill as 90 miles an hour. Inevitably, they're gonna crash, and when they crash, you go down to the bottom of the hill and you bitch slap them for falling off the bike. He said, you can't do that with your employees. You have to apply different situational leadership tactics to how you do that. And I said, guys, what is situational leadership? So let's take a look at what Google says situational leadership is. Situational leadership refers to when the leader or manager of an organization must adjust his style to fit the development level of the followers he's trying to influence. Now let me translate that. You have to look at the situation and the development level of the particular employee and adapt your style accordingly. So what are the styles? Directing, coaching, supporting, and empowering. Now in the directing quadrant situation, you have to think about the environment and the tasks for somebody that might have low competence but high commitment in a situation. And that means you just need to give them more training, more guidance, show them what success looks like, and you have to spend more time directing their particular behavior. But then you hopefully are going to be able to move into coaching. Coaching's where you're going to need a little less structure. They should be able to do some things on their own, but you need to check in with them periodically to make sure things are on track. Now moving from coaching to supporting, it's very close, very similar situations, but it's where they need more praise and encouragement and just to be there so that if they do need help, they can come to you. Now from supporting to empowering, that's where you can delegate. That's for people that have high competency, they're intrinsically motivated, they have the skills, talents, and abilities, and they will take the personal accountability to ensure success. This is not about putting people in particular boxes. It's about being adaptive and flexible to the situation, to where that employee or that staff person is with that particular obligation. So for example, let's say I have a person that works for me and we'll call them Bob. And on some things, Bob may need a lot of directing. On other different types of duties or responsibilities, I might be able to delegate. So it's not about the person, it's about understanding the situation and then applying the right style to that particular situation. So let's say you're hiring somebody in sales and maybe they're an expert at selling cars or insurance or real estate or retail sales, but they come to work for your business and they've never sold your particular products or services before. Well, obviously you're going to start them out in the directive quadrant. You're going to have to give them direct supervision to make sure that they understand your products and services, right? And then hopefully you're going to be able to migrate them into the coaching role, where they understand your products and services, but now you're coaching them for success. You're having regular meetings with them, and you're coaching them on how many calls they're making and how many conversions they're getting, and you have some type of metrics to measure them about, right? And then hopefully from there, from the coaching, you're moving them into supporting, where it can be a little bit more hands-off, and you might only meet with them once a week or maybe once every 2 weeks, because they already know what to do, they understand your products and services, they know what success looks like. So then you want to move from supporting to empowering, where you're pretty much completely hands off. You can empower them and delegate them to make their own sales calls, to set their own hours. So that's it. You go from directing to coaching, to supporting, to empowerment. And again, it's not about the people. Remember, it's about the particular situation and where they are and which situation do you have to apply the different leadership style to. Most entrepreneurs aren't using situational leadership just like I did. They're hiring people, they're empowering them, they're delegating, and they're letting them go. But the problem is they're setting them up for failure because they're not actually directing them and coaching them and supporting them. They're just going straight to delegation. Now, here's another important note. Some of you, while you're looking at the different quadrants, might actually have to do the opposite. You might have someone that actually is intrinsically motivated, has the skills, talents, and abilities, and the motivation, and you need to get out of their own way and let them perform. So what's the moral of the story? Learn situational leadership. Don't put people in boxes. Understand that to be really effective as a leader, you have to apply these different strategies along the path, and that you might have one person who you can delegate something to, but that same person might also need direct support. So that's it for this week's episode on Fordify. Now here's a good question for you. Which phase, which quadrant do you find the most challenging? Is it directing, coaching, supporting, or empowering? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you on the next episode of Fordify, where we help you fortify your business. Hire slow and fire fast, as they don't know what the f they're doing, and you got to stay on them because they're stupid and you hired wrong. And no, I was being sarcastic. Come on, that was a little funny. What do you call the person that you hire in your company to make sure you're politically correct? Well, it's not people, Sean. It's not people. It's situations, Sean. That's it.